Hello, everybody. If you're just getting here, let me know, and we'll get started pretty soon here. Take a look, just make sure we got a few viewers here. Hey, Rahman. Oh, you're always here, man. Thank you so much. Indeed, back to Conquering the East. We're going to give it a few minutes so guys like Dave show up if they want to. They might not be around, of course, but we'll see what happens. And, of course, we're keeping in tandem with what Dave offered in terms of the income. We won't play any ads for at least the first 30 minutes of this stream. There he is, Dave himself. Thank you, Dave Damrell. So glad to see you there, man. Well, you're certainly always around for Agiod. I could tell you've got a soft spot in your heart for Agiod games. I must admit that with the new English Civil War game, it's much more complex, in my opinion, than a lot of the other ones. And I'm still learning, just like you are with Agiod. But I'm going to try to wrap up this particular campaign, see if we can't snag a victory. And then maybe we'll move on to another Agiod game. I think that would be pretty cool. And see what happens. Yes, there are Parthian holes. You're absolutely right. We want to fix that. And as I was saying before, Dave, because of you, we're not going to play any ads for the first 30 minutes of this Let's Play or of this stream. But we do want to win. So I'm going to go ahead and get old Bogus. He is bogus. He just stinks. We all agree on that. One thing that's concerning me is that Dolabella, through all his battles, he's lost a lot of his power. And so what I'm going to try to do is I'm going to see if we can get him to control the army of Artaxata. So yes, we're going to have a few barbarians in our army, but I think it's worth it. Now, right now, Caesar's building a supply depot, even though he doesn't really need to. So I might actually go to Sirace, and then over here, I'm going to stay on basically a defensive setup, because as you mentioned, when you burn these areas down, we don't get any supply from them. But I'm going to try to stay on a defensive setup, yet still take a lot of the Syrian territory for ourselves. I've got Lucius Decidius here, but without any men, I'm not sure he can take back any of these provinces. So we're going to try to send this guy through to grab some of these provinces. And the thing that worries me is this guy right here, the Parthian army led by Emir. Well, some sort of Emir. Now, we do have these guys in Cappadocia, which we just unlocked. We might send them down to try to deal with him. So far, I mean, we're doing pretty damn well. I would be surprised if we lost, but we do need to be aware and just remain aware of the situation. Try to grab as much territory as possible before the end of the campaign and get a victory. So we're going to go ahead. We're going to end the turn. We've got 2,309 denarius, so I might try. Let me get a quick look here. I'm not talking with Cleopatra. I don't care what you guys say, but I will do a major propaganda campaign. I'll also sell prisoners, and I will try to get a few replacements here, especially for the Roman line infantry. And we're going to continue on our path towards victory, I hope. And again, for all of you that just arrived, we're probably going to get people little by little. Try to share the channel with friends. You know, we really want to grow this channel. That's the goal, honestly. A lot of the times our channel gets some hiccups, like for instance, the Hearts of Iron 4 Let's Play cannot continue because they updated the game. They said on their page that they would have previous game versions, but they don't, which I've dealt with this before, especially being in marketing. People say a lot of things that don't eventually come to pass, which puts me in a tough position because it looks like I'm not doing Let's Plays that I should be doing, but I don't want it to look that way. That's one of the reasons I really like this Let's Play system, or this live stream system, I should say. We also have Stationes Manus, and I think with him, we can try and take these mountainous regions. In fact, I don't want him passing through this area. I want him passing through these areas, because I know you guys, just like me, probably don't like these static green positions that are popping up. So let's end the turn. Let's see what Caesar manages to do, and let's hope for the best. Glory to Rome, come on! We'll take a look at the chat in a second, guys. I haven't yet figured out how to do both. But actually, it looks like Bogus got a Roman victory, although not really much of a victory. 120 enemies in that region. If he at least takes it for our control, I'll be happy. Sort of filling up those gaps. It's a start. But it doesn't make me totally happy. And it actually looks like Dolabella mixing with those barbarians worked out pretty well. And really, barbarians is just a term that Romans would give them because a lot of these Eastern empires are actually quite advanced. One game I was thinking of doing on the Let's Play before I jump into, on the live stream, I keep calling it Let's Play, before I jump into the actual game itself. It's a game that I've been a huge fan of for a long time, but I'm concerned about its Let's Play, and that is Crusader Kings 2. I just got the Monks and Mystics DLC, so I'd really like to play it with you guys here, just for fun, see what happens, but we definitely want to keep on moving southwards to see if we can strike out any enemy positions. Let's take a look here. Hello, Neil Evans. Let's play Total War and Shogun 2 Total War. Shogun 2, yeah, well, hey, you should, if you can start donating some money, you can decide what we play. Yes, I think that would be awesome, David. I think it's a good idea, man. And the Red Army General is here. I haven't seen you in a while, Red Army General. Welcome. Yeah, so you guys seem to be very excited about the Crusader Kings 2 suggestion. I am too. Of course, David would probably I'd allow him to select who we play as. I must say I always like to start as a count. Although if we're playing as Vikings, I would like to start as a king. We'll decide kind of what era we play in. I have never played Monks and Mystics, so it would be very new to me. Hello, Eric. How's it going, buddy? So we're going to go ahead and end this turn, hope for the best. I don't even know how many turns we have left, to be honest with you. But we're going to end it and hope for the best. Fact is, right now, victory points-wise, we are totally beating the Parthians. We got pretty lucky, I must admit. Come on, Caesar. Oh, Bogus in a nasty little battle there, and he won. Not too many losses either. And I hope you guys like when I show the rounds. Really, the reason I show them is, number one, you can see how the battle went, but also you can see the beautiful artwork that goes into a lot of these particular units. Honestly, I'm terrible at drawing. I couldn't come close to this. I could do a stick figure drawing a bow, but it would look like a stick figure holding a loose piece of spaghetti. It would look pretty terrible. But he's doing okay, so far we can trust Bogus. But he needs to get to Babylon, because I want to build a road to Babylon as quickly as I can. And Dolabella is getting to where Caesar is, where they can essentially attack from these locations into the rest of the Parthian line. Wait a minute. There we go. We got another issue with the command structure. So I'm going to take Caesar, go to Elam. It's going to take 102 days. So these campaigns are now taking a lot longer, and we are going to be on an offensive maneuver now that we have a supply depot here. With Dolabella, I'm going to try to connect Babylon. 108 days. We're getting to the point now where we're so deep in enemy territory that no matter what we do, it's going to take a significant amount to really make this work, if that makes any sense at all. So we'll end the turn very soon here. It looks like Cappadocia hasn't moved, even though I've asked him to move. 60 days for Cappadocia. We're just fine in terms of money. We've got these equities, German equities. What are they doing all the way in Turkey? I don't know. But we'll accept it. Bring them down, of course. We've got this army led by Gaius Decidius and Lucius Decidius. These guys are brothers, believe it or not. So maybe bringing an infantry unit to join their army as well would allow them to take these provinces. Because, like, for instance, we've got Apamea here that is now under enemy control. We don't want that to be the case. So we definitely want to take Apamea. And look at this bastard over here, Rex. He went north. And he's trying to, I guess, maybe defend these northern provinces that we can't really pay attention to. But we're going to continue our marches. So let's hope this works. We've still got Salvitumanus in Babylon holding it. And he's doing an okay job. So let's get old Bogus down here immediately. He is going to go in on attack posture, so we're going to burn down a lot of areas. But I think it's worth it, and we will end the turn once again. Hopefully this campaign is nearly at its end. A lot of these campaigns take hundreds of turns. I think this one was only 58, but I have no idea how many we've played so far. And it's because of David, guys, that you guys are seeing no ads. Once again, if you give to the channel gives back. And look at the size of Caesar's army, 92,000. He's such a great leader. He goes from like 20,000 to 50,000 to 90,000, back to 80,000 to 90,000. People just love Caesar. They are always willing to fight for him. And the trebuchets, as somebody mentioned yesterday, show us that we were besieging that area. We managed to take the besieged area. And we're going to keep moving through. And here we go. Another Parthian general. A Roman victory, taking out half of Pacorus' forces and losing only 123 men. That's unbelievable. So we're going to continue there. That's a great victory. And I think we killed Pacorus. We did. We killed Pacorus. Another head for our pike wall back in Rome. I love it. Although, as you can see, Caesar's army, and this is due to historical attrition, is dropping significantly. You got to keep in mind, especially if you were in a Roman army during this time period, a lot of men would run away, try to find better lives. A lot of men would die of disease. That all plays into this number. Okay. Come on, boys. Victoria. I still want to get to these cities. And Dolabella is taking a while to get here, but he'll be there in 21 days to be able to connect these two areas. I think we want to take Caesar and try to crush the Parthian army under Gorgas, which sounds like a death metal band. Gorgas! Join us in our Gorgas Legion! We're going to try to cut through Parthian territory here, but you can see that this guy is causing us some problems. Statianus Manus is doing great, but he's not too strong. I'm going to try to send him to deal with this guy. I'm also going to send this Armenian army to try to deal with him. He can get there in 8 days. I don't know if he's strong enough, but at least Cappadocia is finally starting to move. And let's see if we can't merge this army together here. Make them another fighting force. We'll look through all of our area here to see if we have anyone we can use. I really wish we could unlock Galatia here. He looks pretty badass with that helmet. It's pretty cool. Time to start negotiating. Who's left to fight? Definitely worth showing the artwork they put in there, says David. Thank you, David. I appreciate that. I think so. I think so, too. Anyone in Portugal, I wish, man. I always love to see a fellow Portuguese here. Always puts a smile on my face. And, of course, fellow Americans. You know, I do have a soft spot in my heart, as many of you know, for Portugal. And it's not going away anytime soon. We could sleep with Cleopatra, get these forces and start using them, but we're doing so well as is. I just don't know how this could get much better. It could certainly get worse. So we're going to end the turn once again. Oh yes, this is why we send Caesar to deal with these bastards. A Roman victory against Barzaphinis. And he actually had some pretty beastly Sagittari archers, but the Presidium keep coming back to haunt us. We still crush them. No men lost on Caesar's side. No men whatsoever. And the weird thing is, we only took 1,000 prisoners, which means that our men actually fought this battle without losing a single man. Thank you, Testudo. I appreciate it. Another Roman victory here. No commanding general. 553 men lost. No big deal. And it was against this guy, but he managed to run away. Lucky little bastard that he is. And don't forget, guys, about the Super Chat option. If you could remind the Maramon every now and again about the Super Chat option, just a way to support the channel. David has done an incredible job with that. Anytime you guys help the channel in that way, it really helps. And I'm not sure if you guys have heard what's been going on with YouTube recently, but basically a lot of my videos, specifically the Syrian warfare videos and the Afghanistan 11 videos, have been demonetized. Because what happened recently, and I don't know a lot about this. I can only tell you what I've heard, is that a bunch of corporations have left YouTube. Because unfortunately, a lot of people will make titles like, and again, I'm only saying this to explain to you the titles, like "fuck black people," "white supremacists unite," and corporations have started to realize this is not exactly politically correct stuff. We can't support YouTube, so a lot of corporations have started to drop out. Now, last week it was much more apparent. I mean, I was getting videos where I would otherwise make like $2 or $3 off 1,000 views, where I was making like 1,000 views would get me like 20 cents. Now I think it's starting to get better from what I've heard from my friends. I can't say that's 100% sure, but we have to keep in mind that this may ultimately become a channel if YouTube continues to go the way it's going, where we need to rely on donations alone to make it work. And it's sad, but that might be what we're coming to. I've actually considered a lot, and look at that, we did take this territory, so we're going to send these guys north. I have considered a lot, possibly moving to other video sites, video sharing sites, just in case YouTube bites the bucket, kicks the bucket, I should say. I'm trying not to make that happen because I like YouTube. I like being able to show you guys these videos and to essentially, keep playing these games, etc. But one day it could come to that. It's one of the reasons why sometimes I want to go to Twitch, but then we do Twitch and we don't have nearly as much fun or nearly as many viewers as we do here on the live, on the YouTube live stream. So that's one of the reasons I haven't gone there 100% yet, but I'm definitely considering starting to do that. One interesting thing is our live stream videos get more views than our regular ones do, even after they're uploaded, which is really cool. It's kind of a good bit of news because it kind of shows that even though it's live stream, if people haven't seen it, they still have an interest to see it after the fact, which is a good sign. Now, the only areas that the enemy has are these up north. We still have to deal with them, but it's going to take us a while to get there. I am going to end the turn, and of course I'm going to read your chats, but let's end the turn first and see what happens here. And I hope eventually we get a victory here. We should. Well, that was an easy victory. Thank you. Very easy victory right there. And there we go. Of course, Caesar is won once again. Every time he moves through this area, he had 54,000. Now he's got 57. We'll call it 58,000. Everybody wants to fight for Caesar. Who can blame them? Unfortunately, that general got away. We're going to keep moving through their territory. Meet him again. Another Roman victory. He still got away this time. Old Satrapes Barsaphanes. But it's a start. And pretty soon here, when we end this particular campaign, we'll move on to Crusader Kings 2. Even Bogus is doing a good job. Another Roman victory. 6,600 enemy men lost, guys. We only lost 246. I mean, why is Caesar so beastly? He's just unbelievable. He can win any fight without any difficulty whatsoever. And we're still moving through enemy territory, of course. I wish we could see the term number. I'm sure there's a way to take a look at it, but I just haven't figured it out. I'm going to build a depot here with Caesar. We've gotten far enough where we need to start being careful. You can see that all of these units are essentially combined. So we're going to send our friend Dolabella southwards. And we still have to worry about these gaps. I mean, they're a pain in the ass. There's not too much we can do about them. It looks like Gaius Decidius is still besieging this area. So I'm actually going to send Cappadocia to help him. If Cappadocia can get there in time. Let's take a look at the chat, of course. YouTube need to stop demonetizing. Of course they do. Hello, Carter Hansen. We will Caesar this land and salt the empire, indeed. Emperor Penguin, Wars of Napoleon is a great game. The problem I have with it is the goddamn turn timer. Yes, it is. It's very nice. I actually, for those of you that don't know, if you take a look at the Wars of Napoleon tutorial, guess who did the voice work for that tutorial? And that's in-game. That was me, Agrippa Maxenius. I get to pat myself on the back for that one. If you guys buy Wars of Napoleon and you go to the tutorial section, you will get to listen to me describing the tutorial to you. So it's one thing I'm very proud of course. Definitely a game I recommend AG Odds lovers get. It's very nice. If you guys like Rise of Prussia, you'll love it, of course. We'll take a look here what David's saying. Yep, absolutely. I think David's taking a little break. The incompetent General Tolabella must be not being replaced. Yeah, well, we got to keep some of these guys around. Remember, Rome, a lot of the things that are important is family, things like this, so might come from an important family for all we know. Our money's doing just fine, so I'm going to drop another propaganda campaign on the people. We want to make sure that the people completely support us. Major propaganda campaign, some minor games to keep the people happy, of course, and we'll also start to get some replacements here, especially for the Roman line infantry. They're always in need of men. Some of these guys are doing just fine, but the Roman line infantry specifically, they've taken some serious beatings during this entire war. So we've got to do something about these gaps. I'm hoping they're not too dangerous, but they're definitely a pain in my ass. I won't lie. Okay, continue. Victory to Rome. And I definitely want to ask David, if we are going to play Crusader Kings 2, I think you get to decide who we play as, where we play, and I'll try to make it work. Again, I prefer to be a count, but if you want me to be a king, I can do that too. Like I said, we just got the Mystics DLC unlocked. We also have, I'm not sure if you guys would want to watch this, it's up to you guys, we got the Guns of Icarus Alliance. I got it for free from the company. I don't believe it's out yet. It might be out already. It's supposed to release today, but we'll see. And as you can see, we've taken that city. Very good news. So we've taken some of these green zones back. And I think we're going to put Saxamanos in charge of reclaiming these areas. While Caesar continues to conquer all of the territory of the enemy. It looks like even Dolabella is having some trouble, and so is old Bogus. Nonetheless, I think Dolabella has to continue forward, but maybe he could go north and deal with this situation in Mesopotamia. Probably not a bad idea, and send Bogus southward. We're going to put Salvito Manus in Bogus's army, but this leaves Babylon open. But I think it's worth it, and if Bogus can do what he's supposed to, in fact, look at this. Bogus can build a supply depot in Babylon. Hell yes, we're going to build a supply depot in Babylon. A lot of these Parthians are starting to take back territory that was completely ours before. We may have to send Dolabella more north to deal with these situations. But let's end the turn for now. So there's going to be a lot of insurrections, of course, that we're going to have to deal with. Roman victory, of course it is. 3,000, no men lost. They just dropped their arms. They're like, they dropped their weapons. They're like, you know what? Romans are here. Just please surrender. And finally, we get to fight the elusive enemy, Barzaphanes, in the Battle of Susa is a major one, guys. Look at those numbers. 12,424 men lost and 3,000 cavalry. We lost nearly 5,000 men. That's definitely a major battle. We want to take a look here. They mostly had Presidium Susa. They had some other Presidium units, but basically a lot of Parthian militia units. And of course, our legions have crushed them. I mean, our legions are incredible, and at this point, their respect for Caesar is huge. Now, I want you guys to keep in mind that this is an alternative history campaign. This never happened. This would have happened had Caesar not been slaughtered at the Senate by so many traitors. Some of you may call them, and I actually would like to hear your opinions on this. Do you think Brutus was a hero or a villain? Part of me wants to call Brutus a hero, but I respect Caesar so much that I'll call him a villain. Caesar would have gone on to conquer so much of the world, and even the world we live in today may have been very different if Caesar had been allowed to live. Maybe we wouldn't have the EU. Maybe we wouldn't have countries like Turkey, countries like Greece, Albania, Yugoslavia in general. We would have basically one united Roman Empire. That could have made things a lot more difficult, maybe a massive dictatorship, but who knows? I mean, it could have gone any number of ways. We can only sort of be subjective about what could have occurred if Caesar had been allowed to live. But there we go, day 8 Roman victory. We got more days to go. absolutely wiped them out. Look at that, 5,580 men lost. Like I said in my last Let's Play, this is practically a genocide of the Parthians. Very nice, very nice. We continue. We'll look at the chat here in a second because with these victories, I think we absolutely have to. It looks like, unfortunately, Dolabella and Bogus have kind of given up. We're going to send Dolabella to the east. We're going to send Bogus north as well. We've got to make sure to recapture these areas. We can't just leave them in the hands of the enemy. We've taken so much. We've got to continue that strategy. So I'm going to try to take these final cities, and we are going on a total offensive attack with no retreat. Our money's doing fine. Probably wouldn't be a bad idea to reinforce some of these armies, specifically Dolabella's. It's not doing great, let's be honest. Let's get some Roman cavalry in there. Maybe some supply trains. We want to keep those supply trains going. Our men need to eat, after all. Those are galleons. We haven't really used our galleons at all, and I don't even know how to use the naval aspects of this game, but we'll keep the major propaganda campaigns going, some games, keep the people happy. Let's see what the chat box says. Start small. Portuguese. Ooh. Well, I must warn you, some Portugal for CK2 will add a more engaging thematic elements. I must warn you that no matter what time period we take, Portugal is going to be in a tough time. I'm sure you're aware of the Moorish conquests of Portugal, and they extend back significantly for a very long time. So it will be an interesting Let's Play without a doubt, but it will be a very difficult one to be victorious as Portugal. I mean, it really will be, especially as a count. We'll try it, but I can't promise victory or anything like that. Nonetheless, I will definitely attempt it as a count in Portugal and the Portuguese kingdom. We'll probably have to go after the Viking Age, and we'll just have to get really lucky. But becoming king of Portugal, then taking out the Moors, dealing with the Spanish, the Galician Empire, the Aragonese, it's going to be tough, man. Really tough. We'll do it anyway, though. Let's go ahead and proceed to the next turn. It'll be fun to watch me fail anyway. If I don't succeed, it'll still be entertaining to watch. Because CK2 has a great way of sort of, you know, I guess you could say simulating what would happen if you went down a certain historical path. We might even have to convert to Islam, who knows, and then reconvert. I knew I could still trust you, Dolabella. He's doing great. A few supply trains here for the enemy. Dolabella, another Roman victory. Cesare. And actually, I want to see if any of you guys know how to say Caesar in Latin. Unfortunately, it looks like that Alcodinius is getting stronger. He's got a lot of those elite troops that we haven't seen for a while. So we may need to send Caesar or Dolabella up north to deal with that situation. But do any of you guys know how to say Caesar in Latin? And I've had a lot of arguments with people about this, but I actually, you know, had the good fortune of meeting, you know, people that speak Latin and professors of Latin that gave me the correct pronunciation. Does anybody know what it is? Will do, Eric. I'm sorry, Eric. Sometimes it's tough to do. And hello, Maifa. Try to watch Star Wars Factions. Okay. What is that, like an HBO series or... I don't watch TV, so I'm just guessing. Let's see if anyone... Well, I like... That's close. It's, That's close, David. I'm trying to get... Well, obviously, if you guys are just write that, I'm gonna... That doesn't tell me much. I'm looking for something more like this. Like, let's say you assume that the way you say Caesar is Caesar, then you would write something like this. This is not how it's spelled in Latin, by the way, but try to give me the I'm trying to think, is it the phonetic pronunciation? Yes, the pronunciation, indeed. Exactly, something like that. Nope, Carter. I'll give you guys a hint, and the hint is it's not what you'd expect. Let's put it that way. Cengiz, says David. No, so the actual correct pronunciation in Latin of that word, Caesar, is actually an Italian pronunciation of the word, or Cesare. Caesar is more an English pronunciation. The actual way you would say it would sound almost more Germanic, and the correct pronunciation in Latin would be Caesare. Caesare. So, like German Kaiser with an E at the end. Caesare. And this is, I've gotten into so many arguments, especially with Italians here, and I must say, living in Italy, Italians can be stubborn folk, but I promise you that the way to pronounce that in Latin is Caesare. So there would be a sort of Kaiser in there, almost Germanic sounding. That might be the only Germanic, one of the few Germanic words that's quite similar to Latin. They got it right. So you would not say Caesar. You would probably have your head cut off. Or people just would be like, what the fuck are you saying? I don't understand your language. But the correct, if you were in ancient Rome, it would be, instead of, now with the J would become a Y in Latin. So it would be Julius Caesare. And this is the way that the Latins would say it. I highly recommend people watch movies like Satyricon, Fellini's Satyricon. It might be, if you guys are underage, I wouldn't recommend you watch it, but it's there's definitely some sexual themes in the film that are kind of, explicit, but it's very, very similar to what ancient Rome was like at the time, and it would absolutely be Caesare. I've had so many arguments about this with people. I've generally won them, and the truth is that's how you would say the name. It would not be Caesar the way we say it today. Close. It wouldn't exactly be... Yes, Maifa got it. Nice. Yes, David, trust me. It actually, I mean, the thing about Latin, there was a joke somewhere, and I'm paraphrasing completely, but it's something like, the one way you can find enemies is to take a course in Latin at university, because there are so many disagreements. I mean, obviously, we have no audio books telling us how to say it, but I'm almost certain that the way to say it would be Caesare. And still that Italian twang at the end, Caesare, but it would be that Kaiser, that hard K, instead of a C. For instance, another thing is that if you look at Latin, the V is a U. So for one of the emperors, I'm not sure if you guys are familiar with him, Claudius, his name is spelled Cladivus, but the way you would pronounce his name is Claudius, not Claudius. That would actually be Visigothic, almost, and he wouldn't like that, even though he was probably one of the nicer emperors. And by nicer emperors, don't think I mean that he would let you go and not kill you. He might just make your death quick and relatively painless without torture. But Claudius, so the V would be a U. This all goes very deep into just, in general, the history of the world sort of thing. Let's see. Okay, it's turn 39 and 14 turns remain. 14 turns, holy crap. We might have to send Caesare up north to deal with the enemy. And Bogus and Dolabella are very close to each other right now. Another Roman victory there at Orco. Really nothing to write home about, just easy stuff. And we're going to take the city, of course. Now, though, we have a supply line cut off. I don't like that at all. And they've taken Babylon back. That I can't accept. Can't accept that one bit. So we're going to send Caesare north, 15 days to get to Babylon. I'm hoping that Dolabella and, of course, our friend Bogus, I call him Bogus. For those of you that have seen the stream before, you know why. So we're going to do that. Don't forget, guys, about the Super Chat option if you want to help the channel out. You use the Super Chat, you donate whatever little tiny bits of cash you have, like David has. He's a prime example of somebody that cares about the channel, and that has helped out tremendously with it. So seriously, even like a few bucks helps big time, and also it buys people time from having to see ads, which I know nobody likes. Nobody likes to see ads. If you're cheating me and you have an ad blocker, that hurts the channel. I'd ask that you turn the ad blocker off while you're part of this channel. I know that's not an easy thing to say, but it's really something that helps us out. You know, I can't just work for free. I wish I could. I love doing this, but I got bills to pay. I got food to eat, etc. It's just the way life is, I guess. Unfortunately, Statianos, despite having legions, is not able to retake this land. It could just be the lack of legions. I want to see if he can build a supply depot in enemy territory. I don't think he can. I'm going to send him back into the mountains of what we can call Rome now, even though this is definitely nowhere close to Rome. But it is Roman territory if we take it. So let's continue and hope for the best. We've got a lot of supply wagons here too, but I'm hoping that Gaizade can take this area quickly. He could actually build a supply depot all the way down here in the south. I don't think he needs it, but we'll do it anyway. Glad we don't have Evil Man at this stream, aren't you, Arimon? He really can be a pain. We keep Evil Man around because me and Arimon are convinced, maybe Arimon a little less than I am, that we can change him and that we can, that he's just a troubled young lad that we can help. But I don't know, man. It's tough to say. It's interesting because he's probably in a weird way one of the more loyal subscribers. When he got banned, he was begging me to bring him back into the channel. And of course, I indulged him and allowed him to come back. But he can be a real pain sometimes, as I'm sure you guys have noticed. If you guys want him out, you know, I will kick him out, but I'll feel bad about it because I really think that he's the kind of guy that... He's a young guy. I think he's like, what is he, Arimon? Maybe like 14 years old? Maybe less? I think he's got some possibilities of being quite a smart young man, but... we all know that he's bullied, horribly bullied at school, and that probably leads to him lashing out here on the channel. And of course, that's probably none of our business, but I'm a nice guy. I hate it. It's a fucking character flaw. I know it is, but I just can't help myself. I keep bringing him back. All right, we're going to keep going. Sooner or later, we're going to have to get some reinforcements. Our money's doing fine, though. I really do want to get Cleopatra, though, to join us, and considering the amount of victory points we have, maybe it's worth it. Just to make it so that we can take all these troops, move over here, and deal with all these southern provinces, while Kayseri is possibly having to deal with the north. We'll go ahead and head to that last province. But overall, it's up to Dolabella. It's going to take him a while to get here. We finally found Pacorus again. He always gets away. 14,076 men, so about with 30 of his horsemen, he ran away from the battle. Coward that he is. He did have some cataphracts on his side, some elite cavalry helping him. But it pisses me off. It really does. There we go. Roman victory by Bogus! And actually, Bogus is down to 22,000, so he's lost a lot of men. But it looks like the enemy is putting up a good fight. They've got those Equites, the Rambai Equites, and the regular Equites, and the Pediotis. These are all elite Parthian units. So we do need to be careful. Take the city, son. Kayseri has taken their final city. Well, he's almost there. Once he takes it, I'm going to send him to the north to try to clean up this mess. Because if we look at it this from like this sort of view, it looks like the enemy's definitely taken back a lot of land. Not enough, I think, to get a victory, but certainly enough to basically make this a frustrating process of having to reclaim land. At this point, yeah, we're going to have to jump to our restructuring. At this point, a lot of the Parthians don't even want to join Parthia anymore. They're so happy with all the games we're giving them, all of the propaganda we've given them. We'll sell some prisoners as well. Oh, sorry. Oh, this is interesting. Support from Judea. Antipater Idumea is heading for the kingdom of Judea as his reliable ally. Let's ask him for support. We've got plenty of engagement points. Why not? So if it just costs us engagement points, we'll ask for support from Judea, get a little bit of loyalty as well, and hopefully really kick the enemy's ass. After this turn, I will take a look at the chat, but I want to see what happens. Bogus with a stalemate. Bogus, you can do better than that. Well, not really. We don't expect much from you. We really don't. And look at that. The enemy's taking back a lot. We're definitely going to have to send Kaisere forward back to this area. Unfortunately, he's still besieging this area, so, and his legions are hurting badly. So we're going to have to stay here, and like I said, I'm hoping that Bogus here can manage to beat the enemy. It's not like they're taking our cities, but they are taking the land itself. Dolabella is in very bad situation. I'm going to keep him going, but we're probably going to have to bring him back to our capital. Agrippa's being cocky again. That's a good thing, Maifa. Don't you know I suffer from a total lack of confidence? When I'm cocky, you should support it. You should be like, thank God Agrippa's feeling confident in himself again. Where the fuck do they keep finding all these fucking soldiers? So the way it works, Saruman, I totally understand your frustration, is they still have support in these regions. And so if we have no troops there at all, they can sort of cause a rebellion very easily. Even with a few civilians, and be like, we don't want Roman rule, and they can rise up quite easily. Yes, it does, Carter, you're right. Purple says, this channel needs a few trolls to balance it out. That's why we have Evo Man, of course. Indeed. It certainly is. It certainly is. We got to keep a few of them here. There we go. Bogus is taking back some land. And Bogus won. Another fight. 3,444. Like I said, the enemy is getting a lot of... from Monaesis here. He seems to be the new king. De facto king, really, would be a more correct term of Parthia. And Bogus managed to beat him, but just barely. Despite having way more men. We are regaining control of some of these areas. For now, if Bogus could build a supply depot, that's what I want him to do. We're going to have to stop Dolabella's forward movement and bring him back to Roman territory. It's going to take him a while, but Kaisere has managed to take back a lot of land, so I'm going to see just how quickly he can get back here. 70 days. That's how amazing he is. He can travel the entire length of the empire in 70 days, deserts included. And we're only talking about Turkey and the Middle East, essentially. I am going to let him build a depot, but we're going to keep moving north. Still 70 days. Well, we suffered our first defeat in a while, and only losing 307 men with that defeat. We killed way more of the enemy, but this guy, Tamilium Selassie, has a bunch of elite units. And we only have Presidium Chala, essentially the Persian equivalent of auxiliaries. And he's managing to beat these guys, so we got to be careful. This is sort of a Parthian rebellion within our lands. So we need Caesar. He's just built the supply depot. He's going to keep moving north. And we've got to start arming those legions, but I'm not going to do it yet. I'm going to wait a little bit. And look at poor Dolabella, totally red here. We might have to try to take this area, but he's in no position to take anything. The thing about Dolabella is he's a great general, but if he starts losing cohesion, he's in serious trouble. And having to move 142 days into this territory is making it very hard for him. Maybe it's time to go ahead and talk to Cleopatra? Not exactly talk to her, but you know what I mean. Alright, a Roman defeat at Ctesiphon. As long as it's not Babylon, I'm not going to lose my mind. And Caesarea is definitely moving north. But poor Dolabella might get caught. I mean, that's not exactly a bad situation, historically speaking. He's the proconsul, which means that he's second in command. You know, Rome had two consuls. Obviously, Caesarea, which Brutus believed was going to declare himself dictator for life, much like Sulla, would have meant that there is no second consul. So if he gets killed, I'm not exactly going to be sad, because that means that Caesar or Caesarea gets full power, full control of this area. But we'll send the cataphracts forward. We'll try to cover up these areas. But guys like this guy right here are going to try to retake these cities. So we are going to jump quickly to the restructuring of the units, get a bunch of Roman line infantry here. We got so much money. We're going to go nuts. We're requesting 40. Get some supply trains going as well. We can get some legions. Why not? Down to 1739. And I believe now that we've slept with Cleopatra, these units... Oh, yeah, baby. That's what I'm talking about. A few of them are unlocked. So... let's merge with these cataphracts. We'll take Alexandria Exercitos, merge with them as well. 31 days. I'm going to try to do a forced march so they get there faster. But no, we can't do the forced march. But we got a lot here at Alexandria. A lot of them are defensive units, so we can't move them. But in general, we can use these guys to at least hold our southern positions and retake this area that the Parthian rebellion has certainly taken back. Let's see what's going on here. Oh, a Roman defeat at Artemia. I don't like that. And it's this guy, this son of a bitch. He is managing to do a lot of good rebellions. And he kind of looks like a rebel. He looks like a medieval version of Che Guevara. He's managing to do okay, but as you can see, Caesar is getting back. We'll just call him Caesar to avoid confusion. He's getting back to the homeland, as it were. Dolabella is also getting back to the homeland, but it's going to take him a lot longer. So with Caesar going straight for the middle ground here on a full attack. Yes, we're going to burn down a lot of these places in the process, but I want to make sure to make this all red. We've already damaged the enemy significantly. We got a lot of supply trains too. We could send them back there as well. 26 days to get there. Let's take a look at the chat. Just like Nam all over again. Do you like Canada? Yeah, I love Canada. It's nice. Pretty tough people like the Mughals from the Raj series a while back. Yes, very true, David. Able to foil grand plans for a time, but it's just delaying the inevitable. Speaking of I don't know if I'm just going nuts here. I know somebody mentioned this. This is a meme that we've been throwing around the office that I think is hilarious. My father was a Vietnam veteran, so don't take this as disrespect. But I'm going to drop the meme here to give you guys a laugh. You know, my father was a first lieutenant in Vietnam. If you look back enough in the channel's history, he's got stories of where he was almost fragged, stories of fighting the Viet Cong, the VC. My dad was in Tuy Hoa in Vietnam, so he didn't really face NVA. He faced VC, Viet Cong. But this clip makes me laugh every time, so I'm going to share it with you guys, and hopefully you'll find it as funny as I do. So please take a slight break from the stream and watch this, because it cracks me up so much. Oh, you live in Toronto, Ontario. Very cool, Eric. Do you speak French? Parlez-vous français, Eric? I see from your name, Guignard, that you may speak some French. I would play that on our channel if I wasn't going to get a copyright strike for it, but unfortunately I'm not. And we've actually, thanks to David, I want to let you know, I said, Araman said, that's perfect. The poor kid that had to film that, though. I love that you like it, Araman. We are going to start playing ads now. We actually went 51 minutes because of David's generosity. Once again, the super chat option means that you can donate to the channel. A few bucks. You could say whatever you want in your super chat. You could even say, fuck Agrippa, I hate him. But basically, you know, it really helps the channel. So if you want to do that, please do. David has been so caring, so giving. We need more people like him on this channel. If we did, I may not even need to work. Well, not necessarily not work, but I could do YouTube full time, which is ultimately my goal. Which is why we want, if you can't donate, at the very least, try to share the videos, try to share the series, bring people into the stream, because we all have fun here. Ella, that's about the right response, said David. It really is. So we have a bunch of those. There's more. I'll show you guys more now that you guys are here. I'm sorry. Now we've got you guys on some memes. Let me try to find another one that I really love. Oh, this one is fucking great. Ready? This is great. This comes from a series from the 80s called Kazoo Kid, where they were trying to sell kazoos. I remember this when I was a little kid, and nobody bought them. But anyway, this is my favorite one, I think. It just cracks me up every time. But alright, let's get back to the game. You guys watch that while I'm trying to deal with this bureaucratic mess, trying to get Kayseri back to this area, and also Dolabella. Dolabella is going to have a really tough road ahead of him. We're, of course, bringing the troops from Middle East here. One day before he gets there. Seems about right. I love that garbage. That makes my day. Roman victory, of course. It's led by Kayseri. Of course it's going to be a Roman victory. And actually, we were facing that guerrilla unit. I've never seen these guys, the Iberi Auxiliary. If they're Iberi, this means they're Iberian. Maybe from Portugal or Spain. So I feel a little bad killing them. I don't know how they got them. Probably mercenaries. Dolabella is back in our Roman territory, or very close to being in Roman territory. 62 days. We could probably lessen that and just get him right over here in 41. But as you can see, Caesar has taken back a lot of areas. I want him to take back this area, so I'm really trying to push him to move faster than he should, and at that point we really need to let him rest a bit. As you can see, the Parthians have taken back a lot of this territory. We're not going to let that stand. So we're going to go from here to Babylon. 46 days. It's about enough time. I want to see your guys' responses to the video because I find it hilarious. Oh, that's good. Spicken Sie Deutsch. A little diversity, never heard of street, said David. Indeed. He might be camouflaged. I just love how he goes, sometimes I have to be quiet. Because it's really, like, well, this isn't funny, but it's the truth. It's the only time my dad talks about killing people in Vietnam is, like, when he's totally hammered. You know, and a lot of veterans, God bless them, you know, PTSD is a real disease, a real mental illness. When you've been through war, you experience anxiety, depression, and just utter terror, you know, so many times that your brain learns to acclimate to it, but it learns to acclimate to it in such a way that it affects you forever. And that's definitely my dad's thing. Like, the weird thing is, like, my dad can watch Platoon and Full Metal Jacket, and he can laugh and have a good time. But, like, if he watches The Deer Hunter, for those of you that are familiar with the film, he will not watch it. He'll walk out of the room. And I've tried to get him to watch it many times. He'll literally either start crying hysterically, or he'll walk out of the room, which is weird because it's one of the few Vietnam films that doesn't have a lot of action scenes. It's got a lot of emotional scenes. Of course, there are some great action scenes in it, but it just goes to show you that, like, PTSD affects people differently. And the one movie my dad cannot watch is The Deer Hunter. He will go nuts. He'll go right back into Vietnam mode. He'll start looking for VC out in the, even, you know, we lived in New York. He would start looking outside the window. He would tell me weird shit like, oh, the VC are coming. You know, kind of preparing for a possible VC attack. It's not funny. It's serious stuff. I mean, those videos are hilarious. Even my dad would probably laugh at them, but it's tough. So here we go. We can actually get support from Detroit of Galatia for 20,000 denarii. We've got plenty of denarii. 20 engagement points, though. This is a lot. Nonetheless, I'm going to try to get as much support as I can. And Dolabella is still trying to get back home. He can never get home, but we're going to go ahead and end the turn and hope he does eventually. I am going to have to start playing ads because we haven't seen any donations. Oh boy. Dolabella got a Roman defeat. Look at this, guys. This is what attrition does to an army. He's got 564 men. He started off with an army of 50,000. All of his men have either left him, died of disease, or been killed by maybe guerrilla forces. Overall, Dolabella is in some serious trouble. Now, Caesar managed to fight Monaeses, the guy that's trying to start the Parthian rebellion here, and he's got some elite units. Of course, Caesar won, but, you know, nonetheless, we can see that there's still plenty of Parthians willing to fight us. So much so that they're still holding that central area. Now we've got our forces from Jerusalem, actually from Alexandria. They're going to be here very soon, 25 days, but we're going to send Caesar through here as well. 6 days to get there. And now Dolabella can start rebuilding his forces, kind of, but he's got to get to a city, so we're going to send him here. And there's still this Eastern Empire, this Eastern province that's still under enemy control. And this, what I like to call the Che Guevara of Parthia, Silassis Manos, is still managing to take back a lot of cities. We've managed to hold Babylon, but that's about it. And we've got to keep fighting. It's really that simple. A lot of these Parthians are taking back land, and that's not good. So we've got the Galicians. We're going to send the... First, I want to see if we have any other forces here. I don't think we do. We'll send them here to fight. We'll put them on an offensive. Attack, no retreat. And we've got Galatia Manos finally on our side. So we'll send them here as well. Victory to Caesar! With that 1,200 men cut down. And these were plebis. plebs. Basically just a civilian, I don't know how they got those expensive shields, but they did. And we've taken out, and we're trying to kill the main home of the resistance, led by Monaeses. We've cut down his army significantly, but he still has a few men. And you can see he's got presidiums. I mean, these guys are elite units. So he's not just giving up without a fight. He's going to keep fighting here. But we need to keep attacking. Got another Roman general coming here as well. Look at that. We're taking back all that territory. Of course, to the east in the mountains, this is exactly where a guerrilla movement would run away to, and that's what they're doing. Running away to this mountainous area. They're not taking back any of their cities from what I can see, except for the far eastern ones, but even these cities remain under our control. They're just taking the land around the city. So we're going to send Caesar here to try and clear out the enemy, and we're going to take Aelianus Manus. Great general. Way better than Bogus. By the way, what happened to Bogus? Did we just forget about him? I see him now, but he really hasn't done much for us, has he? I'm not calling him Bogud because he doesn't deserve the title. Oh, that's great. Thank you, Ahriman. Ahriman always lets me know, and it looks like One Armed Bandit, who has given before. Thank you, One Armed Bandit. God bless you, man. Has given us some money, that's gonna buy us another 15 minutes without any ads. I was about to play an ad. One Armed Bandit just saved you guys from that ad, and I really appreciate it, man. Thank you, man. Hope your father finds peace. You know, my dad was if you guys want to look it up, and I wish I could play the Division song. I might post it here. It's the 577 Corps of Engineers. And they have a really cool song because basically it's all about out drinking people, and my dad is a horrible alcoholic. He did a lot of crazy stuff, you know, building bridges under sniper fire. I mean, it's not easy. And he went to officer school from a very, very damaged childhood where his father was a pastor. You know, I try to share this stuff with you guys because I love you guys, and this is my channel. I try to share as much of myself as I can. Obviously, I can't talk about stuff about Slytherin. That's who I'm working for. I can't give you guys that kind of information. But as far as my personal life, I really try to share as much as possible. And yeah, he was a first lieutenant in the 577. Obviously, his men probably underwent a lot more trauma than he did, in a weird way. And the 577 Infantry Division, I'm going to try to find their song, because I think you guys would like it. And my dad sort of taught me the words. So let me see if I can find it. Okay, I found it. So I'm going to share it. I hope that doesn't give me a copyright strike. Thanks, YouTube. So this is my dad's division song for you guys to have fun. One was a New York City cop. Oh, I bet he does. Especially if he was around during the 80s, One Armed Bandit. That was an interesting time. This was my dad's division song. I'm going to pee. I'm going to turn the faucet on because I know a lot of you guys get ASMR shit from... You guys basically get PTSD from the sounds of me peeing, and I don't blame you. So I'm going to turn the faucet on. I'm going to go pee, and I'll be back in a few seconds. So while I'm gone, listen to that song. And I'll tell you something, you know, I live by that creed. We don't give a damn about any old man that don't give a damn about us. And that is guys like David, guys like One Armed Bandit, guys like Ahriman, who contribute to this channel in one way or another. my loyalty extends far. Having a lot of humility and giving a shit about people, it's definitely, especially in the world we live in, a character flaw. You've got to learn to not give a fuck about people. In my case, I can't help myself. I love people, and especially if they support me, I love them even more. So that's why I keep guys like Evil Man around, even if he trolls every now and again. I just can't bring myself to ban him. I can't do it. I'm just too nice. So listen to that song. Tell me what you guys think. Oh, no, One Arm Bandit. Don't think that. It's not like that at all. It's, look, it's not that living in Milan is bad. You've got to understand, man. The best way I could explain it, and I'm glad you've mentioned that. Well, I love the Dropkick Murphys, so that's a good click. That's a good link. But, I'm in a country that I don't know the language, okay? I moved here from the U.S., and I love Portugal, so I love Europe. I have no interest in going back to the U.S. That doesn't mean I don't love America. I do. But my heart's in Portugal. I don't speak Italian. Learning Italian is going to take a long time. And, in the perfect world, in my perfect system, I'd be in Portugal. I'd be there working on YouTube all day. I'd be doing live streams for you guys all day. I love working for Slytherin. It's a company that I adore. That's why I'm playing their games right now. Agiot is a subsidiary of Slytherin. But at the same time, yeah, there are troubles here. It's not cheap to live alone. At the same time, even if it were, I'd still want to get something for my work. But ultimately, life is life, man. You've got to, and I had to learn this. I'm 28 right now. I had to learn this by myself. I was a spoiled brat, to be honest with you. I lived with my parents until about 26. I just kind of forced myself in my mind. I'm like, this isn't right. And I forced myself to move out, despite it being really tough. First few months were tough. I had to do Airbnb. I never had to live on the street. Don't worry. But, essentially, yes, it can be tough to live in a country that you're not familiar with. It feels very alienating. That's why when I do these live streams with you guys and I get to talk to you, my subscribers, it makes me feel so good. And that's one of the reasons why I take time, despite being tired the next day. Now, thankfully, it's the weekend, so we can have as much fun as we want. It is damaging in the sense that you feel alone, and in a way you kind of are alone. You've got to kind of make things work for yourself. But to be honest with you, that something my dad's taught me is that's part of life. And one of the lessons that my dad taught me that I keep to this day, he's like, when you go to work, if you don't feel good, and this is something, I don't think he learned this from Vietnam, he learned this just from being himself, is you've got to just wake up. You've got to put yourself in a position where you've got to go to work. You might not like it, but you have to push ahead, and you've got to be strong. Nobody likes going to work. Few people like going to work. You've got to push ahead, be strong, put one foot ahead of the other, and be positive. Be positive about life, even if you aren't having a great time. And look at that, Caesar just killed 21,000 men without losing a single one. We're not even slightly surprised. You've just got to force yourself to accept the situation you're in. And this, by the way, is a new General Alienus, crushing the enemy, just as good as Caesar. Look at that, guys. Crushing Alcedonius' forces, who's been traumatizing our back, our flank for the longest time. 6,580 enemy men lost. We only lost 799. But really, and they were Presidium too, so they were tough troops. You've just got to force yourself in life to put one foot ahead of the other and keep on moving. And I always use my dad as an example because, what he did to me was an extremely brave thing. I always respect him for it. And you can't live life always feeling sorry for yourself. I've done that before, and it doesn't get you anywhere. Because quite frankly, unless you meet great people like Ahriman and David and One Arm Bandit, quite frankly, most people don't give a shit about how tough your life is. And in a way, they shouldn't. They shouldn't have to have that responsibility. I hope I'm not just rambling here. I hope you guys enjoy what I'm talking about, because I am sharing pieces of my heart here with you guys. But you've got to just, thank you, David. I'm glad you liked it, man. Very cool. Save it in your favorites, man. Save it in your favorites. Very cool, man. Very cool. I love the Dutch as well. The Dutch are great. And just like us Portuguese, the Dutch have a tiny country that isn't always respected by the rest of Europe, but we are a country and we have a lot of pride. But essentially, what my father taught me is that you just have to make the best of life. Even if you feel like shit. I mean, nobody likes waking up in the morning and going to work. Let's be honest. You have to put one foot ahead of the other, get out of the house, keep walking, and just go with it, man. I mean, what else can you do, right? What are you going to do? I mean, the other alternative is sit on the street and beg for money. There's no respect in that, right? Not to say I hate the homeless or anything like that. I really don't. I have tremendous respect for those people, but, feeling sorry for yourself isn't going to get you anywhere. Feeling sorry for yourself, and by the way, we've got to make more use of Alianas. He's doing good, but he has to do better. So let's take these cities. Feeling sorry for yourself isn't going to get you anywhere. So even if you feel bad about something, if you feel depressed about something, obviously try to find some friends to talk to about it. Try to deal with the situation at hand. But at the end of the day, it's up to you to make your situation worth living, if that makes sense. This was supposed to be 19 fucking turns. It's taking forever to beat these bastards. But I'm so glad that some of you guys like the Engineer song. That's really cool. That's 577. And here's another cool fact. If you guys watch, and by the way, I should probably save this for a separate stream because I'm giving away a lot of information that's actually, in my opinion, worth some cash and worth some time, especially. The movie Green Berets by John Wayne, I think it was made in 1965. 1967, 1968. My dad was in Vietnam from 67 to 70. The movie Green Berets by John Wayne, there were a few scenes of the film that were shot in Vietnam. And apparently John Wayne was a real asshole. He complained that the coffee at the base wasn't good enough, so my dad and a friend had to drive to Saigon to get him coffee from an actual coffee house to make him happy. Now, if you guys watch the movie Green Berets, for those of you that have seen it, the scene where the bridge explodes, my father rigged that bridge with explosives. Now, he didn't blow the bridge. He didn't press the detonation button, but he got his men to rig the bridge so that John Wayne would be happy and wouldn't complain. And John Wayne was a real dickhead. There were a few other actors. I've got to get from my dad the names of them. My dad, last month, he got pneumonia. He was very sick. He's doing better now. But basically, he can give the names of some of the actors. There were a lot of actors that came through Toi Hoa to do some shooting. And, of course, it was my dad's responsibility as first lieutenant to, guide them, help them, assist them, etc. in making their films. He rigged the bridge in Green Berets to explode. So if you guys watch the movie Green Berets and you watch the scene where the bridge blows up, that was my dad's handiwork. He set that whole thing up by himself, which is pretty cool, in my opinion. Every time I watch that movie, despite it being a pretty shitty film, let's be honest, I always go, my dad did that. He freaking rigged the bridge to blow. Which is pretty cool. It's one of the few scenes in that movie that they did in Vietnam. I think the rest of the movie was shot in Georgia. But a few scenes, John Wayne kind of had to make good with the troops and show that he cared about the army. And he was just an asshole, to be honest with you. I don't care anybody who likes John Wayne. Just realize, look, there were probably plenty of things that John Wayne was great at. But in terms of being nice with the troops, he was a dick. I'm just going to put it that way. So look at this. Dietrich, our barbarian friend, despite having way more troops to the enemy, lost this battle. No man died. He just gave up. That's embarrassing. So not much of a real Gaul at all. He just gave up point blank. At this point, we're trying to regain as many of our points as we can. Let's see what happens, though. victory! Minor victory, my friends. We have reached the end. We have reached the end, my friends. We could have done better, but you know what? A minor victory ain't bad at all. I like it. Yeah, they took back a lot of places with their rebellions, as you can see, but we managed to hold most of it. We also kept Babylon. We kept all the major cities, and we got a minor victory with 2,496 victory points. I'm just going to type in here because I must do it. Victory! 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 Glory to Cesare! Oh, wait. Did I misspell Caesar? I did. I'm shameful. Cesare! Exactly. A victory is a victory. It was all due to you, David. Honestly, I mean that sincerely. If you hadn't donated what you did, I would have given up on this campaign long ago. But a victory is a victory. And, of course, I hope... Let me see if I can do it. We want to take a look at the ultimate casualties here. So 149,534 lost on our end. We took 9,650 prisoners. We know we took way more prisoners than that, but you have to keep in mind the time period, and AG Odds always does that to try to keep historical significance. So I would say we probably took more like 100,000 prisoners. That means 9 out of 10 prisoners were just slaughtered, crucified, killed immediately. The enemy lost 447,000 men. That is genocide. I don't care how you look at it. We fucking killed all of Parthia, all of Mesopotamia. We took back the Fertile Crescent, where all, humanity's civilization, not humanity itself, but humanity's civilization began. And we did it in the name of Caesar. And I want to remind you guys that this is an alternative history campaign. This would have never happened had Caesar not been killed. Or had Caesar been killed, this would have never happened, I should say. He was killed, of course, before he could implement this plan, because Caesar, before he was killed, wanted to follow in the footsteps of Alexander the Great and retake Mesopotamia, maybe move on to India, and just do an incredible job at conquering. He never got to do that. Of course, he left the empire to one of my favorite, and actually where I got my name, my favorite emperors, Augustus, and his best friend was Marcus Vipsanius Agrippa. And I took the name Agrippa because I love Marcus Vipsanius Agrippa because of his loyalty, just like I'm loyal to you guys, my fans. And my last name, Maxentius, is my most hated emperor, Emperor Maxentius, who was killed on a bridge by, somebody help me here, oh my God, not Charlemagne, my God, not Charlemagne, the first Christian, oh come on, Ahriman, I know you know this. Help me, Ahriman. Help me. Help Agrippa. Constantine. So Constantine killed Maxentius on a bridge. And that's why I put the two names together. Something I love and something I hate. And I sort of a yin and yang, I guess, to it. I'm not one for sort of Asian religion, but I think that putting the two together was interesting. So Agrippa, Maxentius. Close enough, Purple General. Close enough. Yes, indeed. But I hope you guys have enjoyed my, The Last Roman, kind of. I hope you guys have enjoyed this stream. And we actually were supposed to only go 30 minutes without ads. But because of one-armed bandit who gave some cash, David who gave some cash, we went the entire stream without any ads at all. So I hope you guys respect that. Now, I'm going to try, and this is going to be tough, I'm going to try to do a Crusader Kings 2 stream. I don't know how long I can make it, but this is not easy. I mean, I'm sure you guys can imagine talking and streaming at the same time is, it's not easy. I mean, if you guys look at guys on radio, you guys look at guys like, being announcers for football games. I mean, not to pat myself on the back, but the only skill I have is being able to keep this bullshit up for the time I do and to continue talking and keeping you guys at least sort of entertained. So, I will do it again. I'll do another stream. We will do some ads on this stream, but I'm going to try a Crusader Kings 2 stream. David suggested we start in Portugal, which I think is cool. We just downloaded the Monks and Mystics DLC, so if I do another stream, I will, of course, pop up on the channel, we'll see how far we get, and see what happens. And yeah, I got to ask you, David, where are you from, man? Where are you from? Yeah, I've got to say one thing. I used to love CK2. I think with all the DLCs, they've definitely messed up some stuff. But all right, so we're gonna pop out for now. Thank you so much for joining, guys. I'm gonna try to do another stream for you guys because I love you. But I don't know how long I'll last. But we're gonna try to start a CK2 stream. David suggested starting in Portugal. I think it's an awesome starting point. But if we're gonna start in Portugal, we have to start after the Viking invasion. And since I'm starting as a count, it's gonna be a fucking tough Let's Play. We're talking like if there were 6, difficulty settings, we'd be on number 6. So if I fail, don't hate me. But it's your 9th state. Wow, man. See, I've been in many states, but the 2 states I've lived in is Florida and New York. So I was born in Gainesville, Florida, and then we moved to actually Long Island in New York, and then we moved to New York City. So I've been around, but probably not as much as you, man. That's interesting for sure. My favorite state is Vermont. I love Vermont. LOL, not at all. A victory, my friends, for Rome. Incredible. Incredible indeed. So many locked forces, too. Well, we finished it, guys. We got a victory. That's freaking great. Wow, very cool. What branch did you serve in? Man, at some point, since I'm here in Italy, it's so hard to get my dad over here to talk. But at some point, I definitely want you and my dad to meet, David. Seriously. My dad always likes to meet other military guys. My dad's 72 years old, but you and him could probably exchange some pretty great stories. And since he wasn't a combat guy, he was an engineer. He saw some combat, but that's very cool. Air Force. My friend, my best friend, Polish guy, Kasper Kedjor, he's in the Air Force right now, over in Sacramento, California, and, raising a family, doing that sort of thing. I'm very, very glad. Very cool. 4 active. God damn, son. God damn. 4 active, 6 reserves. Let me extend a huge, huge debt of thanks, not only for your donation, but holy shit for your service, man. Thank you for your service. Seriously, man. Your service probably means a billion times your donation. Man, that is awesome. That is so cool. My dad would be thrilled. I think my dad, he just did what he had to do. He was in there 2 years. He got right the hell out. He started a contracting business in Florida. He did his time. He became an officer. Went to officer school in Fort Benning, Georgia. Became an officer. Went to Toi Hoa in Vietnam. He had his fill of that, and he got the hell out. So much more to say, but man, that he would be so proud of that. That is awesome. That is awesome, awesome, awesome. Holy crap. You were definitely in it for the long haul. Big time, man. No, I haven't, but I actually kind of want to watch it because I like cryptozoology, and I kind of like the idea of like a big mean lizard like the Megalania fighting King Kong. Although I've heard that it's a shit film from my friends. Oh, I'm sure you would. I'll give you right now. Hold on one second, David. I'm glad you liked his Engineer song. I'll give you. I'm sure you haven't seen it. Hold on one second. Agrippa Maxenius. And by the way, this is how fucked up YouTube is. They have demonetized my dad's stories. So I'm going to share with you the playlist for all of you guys, actually, of my dad's Vietnam stories. And I think David will love these. And maybe the rest of you will too. Yeah, well, it's the way YouTube is now. I mean, the thing is, like I think I told you guys before, a lot of corporations have dropped, so I have to be very careful with my titles and the games I play. Like I told you, Afghanistan 11 and my Syrian warfare videos are not monetized because YouTube has determined in their infinite wisdom that they're too controversial. Same with my dad's Vietnam War stories; they're too controversial, and essentially corporate sponsors won't sponsor them. I'm not going to blame YouTube too much because I know that specific people don't look at these and go like, "Oh, this is not good." It's a bulk system, so like they have words, etc., that they won't allow. But click on that, David, if you want to hear my dad's Vietnam War stories. He's got a bunch of them. Some of them more fucked up than others, but I'm sure with your tours, I mean, he wouldn't have a candle to hold. So let me reset up the stream. We're going to get CK2 going. I can't promise that I'm going to do it immediately, but you guys will see the stream once it pops up. So we got to think of a name for this next stream. So maybe Crusader Kings 2 live stream. You see how generalized I am? CK2, I don't know what we're going to call this. Thank you, David. I hope you do, man. And my dad will be thrilled. I mean that sincerely. My dad, he's going to be thrilled that you loved his Division song. He's going to be fucking so happy. You have no idea. And it is a funny song because basically my dad really can't outdrink anybody. He can drink ridiculous amounts. One of the lines of the song is, I met a tanker. We drank, the tanker died, and we were drinking pure gasoline. And believe me, my dad could drink pure gasoline and be just fine. There's, oh yeah, everything's okay. I have a slight buzz. But yeah, man, it's pretty funny. Rise of Portugal. I like that one. Thank you, Milan Klefos. I think you're new to the channel, and it is just fucked up. If you're new to the channel, make sure to subscribe. But yeah, it's how YouTube is. We got to deal with the situation. So I'm gonna try. We're gonna try to go ahead and get the CK2 thing up. I'm ending this stream. We're gonna get CK2 loaded. I can't promise it's gonna last very long, but we'll at least kind of get something going, hopefully. So keep your eyes on the channel. If I don't upload it in the next 10-15 minutes, I'm probably not going to upload it, but I think I'm going to try, just for you guys. So I want to get a nice thumbnail for it, and maybe a nice title. And thank you so much, guys, for being so supportive, especially David, Ariman, One Armed Bandit, guys that have actually contributed to the channel. You guys mean so much to me, and when, I'm not saying if, I'm saying when I hit the ranks of Arumba, and